Have you ever heard of a restaurant that was only open for 6 months a year? She served over 8,000 customers per season, yet received over 1 million reservation requests. That restaurant was Spain's Elbulli, and at its helm was master chef Ferran Adrià, often called the Salvador Dali of the kitchen. Yet despite all this, the restaurant business model forced it to permanently close in 2012.
World's best restaurant.
Change the game.
Break all the rules.
What can other companies learn from this specific approach? Welcome to Business Model Hackers, where we explore business strategy and management tools through case studies. Each week, we'll examine real-world applications of concepts and frameworks using case studies from research and our team's engagements. To protect confidentiality, some details may be altered, but the lessons remain authentic. Now get ready to uncover the insights behind influential business decisions. In today's episode, we dive into the incredible story of El Bulli, a restaurant that revolutionized haute cuisine through constant innovation and creativity. We'll explore how Chef Ferran Adrià built a culture of experimentation and the lessons businesses can learn from El Bulli's unique approach. Hey Sam, great to have you here. How you doing?
Good. How are you today, Philip?
I'm doing good. And I was wondering if we could start with some background on what made El Bulli and Ferran Adrià such a revolutionary force in the culinary world.
El Bulli began as a mini golf restaurant in 1961, but it really took off when Ferran Adrià joined as chef in 1984. Adrià had an epiphany in 1987 when he heard another chef say, "To create is not to copy." I think that set him on a path of constant culinary innovation. Adrià pioneered new techniques and concepts like deconstruction, where he would break down familiar dishes and reassemble them in surprising ways. He played with texture, temperature, and even the emotions and childhood memories evoked by food. Under Adrià, El Bulli earned 3 Michelin stars and was voted the world's best restaurant a record 5 times.
Wow. El Bulli clearly reached the pinnacle of success. So then what were the challenges that came with that level of acclaim?
Well, the biggest challenge was maintaining creativity in the face of success. So Adrià worried that the pressure of running a world-famous restaurant would stifle innovation. There was a risk of becoming complacent or formulaic. To avoid this, Adrià made bold moves. He cut the restaurant's open season to just 6 months per year, giving his team the other 6 months to develop entirely new menus. Imagine that. He established a separate workshop in Barcelona to prototype new dishes, and he instituted a policy that no dish would ever be repeated from one season to the next. So these decisions allowed El Bulli to prioritize creativity over efficiency or even profitability. In Optionality's terms, Adrià recognized that creativity was El Bulli's real option, their pathway to future breakthroughs. But structuring the restaurant's operations around experimentation, he avoided the competency trap of just optimizing existing successes.
It's amazing how Adrià optimized for creativity over everything else. What can other companies learn from this specific approach?
The key here is to view innovation as an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Many businesses achieve success with an initial innovation, but then fail to renew themselves. They fall victim to the success trap. Adrià avoided this by building a culture and processes geared toward constant reinvention. He gave his team space to experiment, accepted that many ideas would fail, and was willing to make financial sacrifices for the sake of creativity. Not every business can close for half the year, but they can all carve out white space for undirected exploration.
So then how did El Bulli's commitment to creativity play out in practice? What was the actual process?
Well, it started with the annual creative cycle. Each year began with a 6-month period dedicated solely to creativity with no pressure to serve customers. So Adrià and his team would travel for inspiration, attend seminar, and research new ingredients and technology. They followed a rigorous but fluid creative process involving concepts like deconstruction, taking apart classic dishes and recombining them in novel ways. The team would exhaustively prototype each new recipe, sometimes going through hundreds of iterations. The result was an entirely new 35-course tasting menu each season, featuring radical innovation like liquid olives, hot gelatin, and Parmesan air. The experience was as much artistic as culinary. Adria compared each meal's progression to a movie's narrative arc. This relentless creativity kept elbulli at the cutting edge year after year. I think it's a powerful example of how systemic focus on innovation can drive success. However, this was only short-lived. As you know, they ended up closing in 2012. After years of leading elbulli to the top, I think Chef Adria wanted a change of pace. Closing the restaurant allowed him to explore new and more profitable ventures.
Yeah, elbulli is clearly an incredible case study in innovation. Are there any elements of the Optionality's framework that could have prevented them from failing?
Absolutely. I mean, elbulli's focus on highly experimental and avant-garde cuisine was resource intensive. Constantly developing new and unique dishes requires significant investment in research, development, and ingredients. And because of its exclusivity, this meant elbulli's revolutionary cuisine only reached a small number of people. So while elbulli excelled at generating real options through creativity, they could have considered more avenues for extracting more values out of these innovations. One key concept of optionality is the barbell strategy, where businesses balance speculative investments with safer cash cow ventures. elbulli poured everything into experimentation, operating almost at a loss. They could have more aggressively monetized innovation through consulting, licensing, or spin-off ventures. Adria did some of this with projects like the fast good chain, but there was potential to do more and save the company. Another relevant concept could have been applied here is acquisition at scale. elbulli could have looked to acquire aligned business in areas like food science or distribution. This could have given them proprietary platform to scale innovation beyond the restaurant. And lastly, I think the Optionality's blueprint emphasized the power of diverse networks and distance adjacencies. elbulli could have collaborated more formally with innovators from completely different domains, potentially yielding radical new concepts. And the elbulli case shows that fostering optionality starts with a mindset of commitment to relentless reinvention. That's something every business can learn from, even if they don't achieve elbulli's level of acclaim.
Now, as we wrap things up here, what are the key takeaways you hope our listeners glean from elbulli's story?
I think the main lesson is that groundbreaking innovations don't happen by chance. They come from a deliberate, systematic approach to creativity. elbulli shows the power of structuring a business or career around the pursuit of real options. So cultivating seeds of innovation that could bloom into the next big breakthrough. Not every company can be as uncompromising as elbulli, but we can all learn from the relentless commitment to experimentation and renewal. Building that into your organizational DNA is important, but the ability to scale success is the surest path to long-term relevance in an uncertain world.
Now, that's an inspiring note to end on. Thank you so much for this fascinating conversation, Sam. Truly a pleasure as always. Well, that wraps up our discussion for today, and thank you for tuning in to Business Model Hackers. For more insights and updates, please visit businessmodelhackers.com, and don't forget to follow our social channels. Also, a special invite to our listeners: join our email list at businessmodelhackers.com to access exclusive downloadable resources. These materials offer in-depth information on all the tools, trends, and case studies we discuss on the show, and much more. Until next time, keep hacking and innovating.